4 slams, 4 worlds, let's dive into the history of tennis. Wimbledon. If tennis has a church, Wimbledon is the cathedral. It's the tournament where strawberries and cream meet 150 mph serves, where grass courts shine under the London sun, and where tradition battles against time. Founded in 1877 at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, Wimbledon is the world's oldest tennis tournament and arguably still its most prestigious. That very first year, just 22 men entered the singles draw. The winner, Spencer Gore, not only lifted the trophy but also famously predicted tennis wouldn't catch on as a sport. Talk about a bad call. Fast forward nearly 150 years, and Wimbledon is watched by over 500 million people worldwide each year. Wimbledon is the only slam still played on grass, the original surface of tennis. Grass is fast, slick, and unpredictable. Serves skid low, rallies are short, and footwork is everything. That's why some legends, like Pete Sampras, thrived here, winning 7 titles between 1993 and 2000, while others, like Jimmy Connors, never solved the slippery puzzle despite being all-time greats. Even Rafael Nadal, the king of clay, has only managed 2 Wimbledon titles, 2008, 2010, while Novak Djokovic has racked up 7 and counting. No name is more tied to Wimbledon than Roger Federer. The Swiss maestro holds the men's record with 8 titles, 2003-2017, including an unbelievable streak of 5 in a row from 2003 to 2007. His rivalry with Nadal reached its absolute peak here in 2008, in what many call the greatest match ever played, a 4-hour 48-minute epic where Nadal finally dethroned Federer 6-4, 6-4, 6-7, 6-7, 9-7. Rain delays, fading light, and raw emotion made it a battle that defined an era. Even casual fans know that match. On the women's side, Martina Navratilova dominates history with 9 titles from 1978 to 1990. Her serve and volley style was tailor-made for grass, and her rivalry with Chris Evert brought women's tennis to global attention. More recently, the Williams sisters have made their mark. Serena with 7 titles and Venus with 5. In fact, from 2000 to 2016, the sisters appeared in 9 Wimbledon finals, shaping nearly 2 decades of dominance. Wimbledon is famous for rules that feel both classy and crazy. The all-white dress code, enforced since the 19th century, has caused endless drama. Venus Williams once had to change bras mid-match, and Federer was banned from wearing shoes with orange soles. Even underwear must be white. In 2014, officials literally measured colored trim on players' outfits with rulers. Only in 2023 did Wimbledon relax slightly, allowing women to wear darker undershorts for comfort during menstruation. Then there's the curfew. Matches can't go past 11 p.m. local time, meaning several have been suspended at cliffhanger moments. Center Court, which now has a retractable roof installed in 2009, seats 15,000 fans and has hosted some of the sport's greatest battles. If you think Wimbledon is all elegance, remember this: it also gave us the longest tennis match in history. In 2010, John Isner beat Nicolas Mahut in a 3-day marathon that lasted 11 hours and 5 minutes. The final set ended 7-0, 6-8. The scoreboard literally broke because it wasn't designed to go that high. That match alone forced Wimbledon to finally add final set tiebreakers in 2019. Wimbledon may cling to tradition, but it has evolved. After a campaign led by Venus Williams, the tournament began awarding equal prize money to men and women in 2007. That move put it in line with the US Open, which had done it since 1973, and marked a major step forward for the sport. In 2023, prize money for singles champions topped £2.35 million, $3 million each. For every Federer or Serena, there are heartbreak stories. Andy Roddick played one of the greatest matches of his life in the 2009 final, losing 16-14 inches the 5th set to Federer despite serving 27 aces. He later admitted, "That one still keeps me up at night." More recently, Carlos Alcaraz stunned Novak Djokovic in 2023 to claim his first Wimbledon title at just 20 years old, proving the grass cathedral has a new king in waiting. The tradition of eating strawberries and cream dates back over a century, with fans consuming nearly 200,000 servings each year. The famous queue, where fans camp overnight for same-day tickets, is legendary. And the trophies, the silver gilt men's cup and the Venus rosewater dish for women, are as iconic as the champions who hoist them. Roland Garros. If Wimbledon is a royal garden party, the French Open is a street fight in slow motion. Held every spring in Paris since 1891, Roland Garros is the only Grand Slam played on red clay courts, and it's unlike anything else in tennis. Clay neutralizes power, stretches rallies into marathons, and demands patience, grit, and lungs of steel. The surface is made of crushed brick, limestone, and gravel. Instead of skidding like on grass, the ball bounces high and slow. Players must slide into their shots, rallies often last 20-30 strokes, and 3-hour matches are considered routine. On clay, winners become warriors and pretenders get exposed. For big servers like Pete Sampras or Boris Becker, Paris was a nightmare. Sampras, despite 14 slam titles, never won here. Meanwhile, grinders like Gustavo Kuerten or Thomas Muster built careers on the red dirt. Matches here can feel endless. In 2004, Fabrice Santoro beat Arnaud Clément in a 6-hour 33-minute match, the longest at Roland Garros history until 2024. But when you say French Open, you're really saying Rafael Nadal. From 2005 to 2022, Nadal won 14 titles, more than anyone has ever won at a single slam. His Roland Garros record? 112 wins, just 3 losses. That's a 97.4% win rate, numbers so absurd they look fake. His first victory in 2005 came at age 19, wearing his signature sleeveless shirt and pirate shorts. By 2010, he had already won 5. By 2014, he passed Pete Sampras's overall slam count just at Roland Garros alone. The only men to beat him on clay in Paris are Robin Soderling, 2009, and Novak Djokovic, 2015-2021. Even Federer, Nadal's greatest rival, has just one French Open title, 2009, in his entire career. Nadal's dominance reshaped tennis players now train specifically for clay seasons, knowing Paris can define legacies. Without Nadal, Djokovic would likely have 5 or 6 French titles instead of 3. With him, even Federer once admitted, "You feel like you need a miracle." On the women's side, the queen of clay was Chris Evert. From 1974 to 1986, she won 7 French Opens with her patient baseline game and legendary consistency. Her rivalry with Martina Navratilova flipped here. Martina ruled grass, Chris ruled clay. Today, the crown belongs to Iga Swiatek, who's been dubbed Nadal's successor. Since her first title in 2020 at age 19, she's already won 4 Roland Garros trophies: 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024. Like Nadal, she thrives on sliding, heavy topspin, and an iron mindset. The tournament's name has nothing to do with tennis. In 1928, the French built a new stadium named after Roland Garros, a pioneering aviator who died in World War I. Before that, the French Championships, started in 1891, were only open to French players. It wasn't until 1925 that international players were allowed, making it a true Grand Slam. Clay creates drama like no other surface. The 1984 final between John McEnroe and Ivan Lendl was legendary. McEnroe led 2-0 but imploded after arguing with cameramen and losing his cool. Lendl came back to win in 5, cementing his place as a clay master. In 1999, Steffi Graf, already a 21-time Slam champion, beat the then-dominant Martina Hingis in a bizarre, emotional final where Hingis argued with umpires and even walked off the court mid-match. Graf won, and it became one of the most dramatic women's finals in history. And then there's the infamous 2009 upset, when Sweden's Robin Soderling shocked Nadal in 4 sets. It remains one of the biggest upsets in sports history, ending Nadal's streak of 31 straight wins at Roland Garros. Matches here are wars of attrition. In 1982, Mats Wilander beat Guillermo Vilas in a 4-hour 42-minute final at just 17 years old. In 2004, Santoro Clément set the marathon record at over 6 hours, played across 2 days. And Nadal, Djokovic's 2013 semifinal, 9-7 inches the 5th, remains one of the greatest clay matches ever played. Roland Garros is as French as baguettes and espresso. The red dust gets everywhere, players leave the court with orange socks, shoes, and even hair. Rain delays are constant, though a retractable roof was finally added in 2020. Unlike Wimbledon, the French crowd is loud, opinionated, and brutally honest. They'll cheer double faults, boo players, and break into chants of Allez like it's a soccer match. Winners lift some of the sport's most beautiful prizes. Men claim the Coupe des Mousquetaires, Cup of the Musketeers, honoring the 4 French legends who dominated in the 1,000, 920 seconds and 30 seconds. Women lift the Suzanne Lenglen Cup, named after the flamboyant Frenchwoman who won 6 Wimbledons and was known for sipping cognac between games. The Australian Open. If Wimbledon is tradition and Roland Garros is a war of attrition, then the Australian Open is a survival test in a furnace. Played every January in Melbourne, this slam is called the Happy Slam because of its festival vibes, but make no mistake, it's also one of the most brutal tournaments in tennis. The tournament began in 1905 as the Australasian Championships, held in Melbourne, but for decades, it was seen as the unwanted stepchild of the slams. Why? Geography. Europe and America dominated tennis in the 20th century, and Australia was just too far away. Long boat rides, Christmas scheduling, and modest prize money meant stars often skipped it. Even legends like Bjorn Borg, John McEnroe, and Chris Evert barely showed up. The turning point came in 1988, when organizers moved the tournament from the old grass courts at Kooyong to the brand new Melbourne Park, featuring modern hard courts and a retractable roof stadium. Suddenly, the Australian Open went from dusty afterthought to world-class spectacle. January in Melbourne is summer at its peak, with temperatures often hitting 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Courts get so hot they've been recorded at 70 degrees Celsius, 158 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to literally melt players' shoes. In 2014, Canadian player Frank Dancevich collapsed mid-match, later saying he hallucinated a cartoon dog on court. To manage the chaos, the AO introduced the extreme heat policy, which allows play to be suspended or roofs to be closed. But the threshold is so high that players often look like they're baking in an oven before relief is granted. If Nadal is the king of clay, Novak Djokovic is the undisputed king of Melbourne. Since 2008, Djokovic has won 10 Australian Open titles and holds a 1-0-0 record in finals. He has literally never lost a championship match here. His most famous triumph? The 2012 final against Rafael Nadal. The match lasted 5 hours and 53 minutes, still the longest slam final ever. Djokovic won 5-7, 6-4, 6-2, 6-7, 7-5. Both players were so exhausted at the trophy ceremony they could barely stand. Nadal later said it felt like playing tennis with your body broken into pieces. On the women's side, the modern queen of Melbourne is Serena Williams, who won 7 titles between 2003 and 2017. Her 2017 victory is the stuff of legend. Serena was 2 months pregnant with her daughter Olympia and still didn't drop a set the entire tournament. She later said, "I wasn't thinking about being pregnant, I was just thinking about winning." That's peak Serena. Historically, the all-time record belongs to Margaret Court, with 11 titles, though 7 were in the amateur era before 1968. In the Open era, Serena's dominance is unmatched. The AO has also delivered unforgettable classics. That 2003 Andy Roddick's marathon against Yunus El Ainaoui lasted 5 hours and 15 minutes with a 5th set that ended 2-1-1-9. 2009 Final, Rafael Nadal beat Roger Federer in 5 sets, leaving Federer in tears during the trophy ceremony. Nadal consoled him with the famous line, "Roger, you're the best." 2012 final, Djokovic-Nadal, already mentioned, remains the ultimate endurance test. Unlike Wimbledon's royalty and Roland Garros' seriousness, the AO is known for being laid-back and fan-friendly. The AO Festival surrounds the grounds with live music, food trucks, and sponsor zones. Players love the relaxed vibe. Roger Federer famously called it the Happy Slam. Fans also get unprecedented access. The fan walk lets you get within arm's reach of stars walking to the courts, and autograph sessions are a daily tradition. It's part tennis, part festival. Winners hoist the Norman Brooks Challenge Cup, men, and the Daphne Ackhurst Memorial Cup, women. In 2025, champions each earned more than $3 million, a long way from the modest payouts of the 1,970 seconds, the US Open. If Wimbledon is royal tradition, Roland Garros is a clay war, and the Australian Open is a furnace, then the US Open is pure chaos wrapped in a neon sign. Held every year in Flushing Meadows, Queens, New York, from late August to early September, this slam is the loudest, boldest, and most unpredictable. The crowds yell between points, planes roar overhead, and night matches can last until 2 a.m. It's tennis, but with Broadway drama. The US Open started way back in 1881 as the US National Championships, Originally played on grass at the Newport Casino in Rhode Island, only men were allowed at first, with just 25 players in the draw. Richard Sears won the first 7 titles, basically the Federer of the 1,880 seconds. In 1915, the tournament moved to Forest Hills, New York, and women's events became a staple. Then, in 1978, it shifted again to Flushing Meadows, adopting hard courts, making it the only slam to be played on all 3 surfaces: grass, clay, and hard. That constant reinvention is why the US Open has always been at the cutting edge. The US Open loves being first. It was the first slam to introduce tiebreaks in 1970, ensuring matches didn't go on forever. At first, it was a sudden death 9-point tiebreak, which players hated because it felt like a coin toss. By the mid-70 seconds, it evolved into the 12-point tiebreak we know today. It was also the first slam to offer equal prize money for men and women way back in 1973 after Billie Jean King campaigned for fairness. That set the stage for Wimbledon and the others to catch up decades later. Forget hushed Wimbledon crowds. New York fans will boo, cheer, chant, sing, and heckle mid-match. Even the greatest players admit it feels more like a basketball arena than tennis. Arthur Ashe Stadium, built in 1997, seats 23,771 people, making it the largest tennis venue in the world. When it's packed on a Saturday night, it feels like Madison Square Garden with rackets. Novak Djokovic once said, "You feel like you're playing in front of 100,000, not 20,000. Since Federer's last win in 2008, the US Open has become wildly unpredictable. From 2009 to 2024, there were 15 different men's champions in 16 years. That's the magic of New York. You never know who's going to walk out with the trophy. On the women's side, the all-time record belongs to Mala Mallory, who won 8 titles between 1,915 and 1,926. But in the modern Open era, Chris Evert and Serena Williams lead with 6 titles each. Serena's story is especially iconic. At 17 years old in 1999, she became the first African-American woman to win a slam since Althea Gibson in 1958. That breakthrough launched a 20-year reign where Serena turned Arthur Ashe Stadium into her backyard. Her final US Open appearance in 2022 drew over 29,000 fans in a single-night session, a record crowd who came just to say goodbye. The US Open has delivered some of tennis's greatest epics. 1991, Jimmy Connors at 39 years old made a miraculous run to the semifinals, beating Aaron Krickstein in a 5-set thriller on his birthday. The crowd roared like Madison Square Garden. 2001, Sampras vs. Agassi, quarterfinal, no breaks of serve, 4 tiebreaks, pure shot-making. Sampras won 6-7, 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. Fans still call it the best match without a break of serve. 2012. Final, Andy Murray vs. Djokovic. Nearly 5 hours in brutal wind, Murray finally claimed his first slam title. He cried on court, saying New York made him believe. 2019. Final, Bianca Andreescu vs. Serena Williams. The Canadian teenager shocked the world, becoming the first Canadian to win a slam. Here's a crazy stat. The US Open is the only slam never cancelled. Not during World War I, not during World War II, not even during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. They played in front of empty stands, with eerie silence, but they played. By contrast, Wimbledon was cancelled twice for World Wars and once in 2020. The French and Australian Opens have also been suspended at times. But the US Open? Too stubborn to stop. By 2019, the US Open's prize pool hit $57 million, with winners taking home more than $3 million each. It's also the most lucrative slam for broadcasters, with ESPN paying $825 million for 11 years of television rights. New York always means big money. In 2022, Carlos Alcaraz became the youngest men's champion since Pete Sampras in 1990 at just 19 years old. His 5-set win over Casper Ruud not only gave him the trophy but also made him world number 1. It was the official start of tennis's new era. On the women's side, stars like Naomi Osaka, Coco Gauff, and Iga Swiatek have turned New York into their proving ground. Gauff's 2023 victory at age 19 made her the youngest American champion since Serena's first in 1999. The US Open isn't about strawberries and cream or royal boxes. It's about hot dogs, subway rides, neon lights, and fans yelling, "You got this," during a second serve. It's rough, it's wild, it's uniquely American, and that's why players love it. Roger Federer once said, "You walk into Arthur Ashe and you feel like a rock star." If you had fun diving into tennis history with me, don't stop here, check out the other videos waiting for you. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss the next rally of stories.